Game of Thrones, George R.R. Martin announced that his HBO deal was suspended. He also claims he's working on Winds of Winter, keyword on claims, because we haven't really seen any progress whatsoever. He just writes these blog posts saying he's writing on it, he's working on it, he's writing it, but who knows if he actually really is. He seems to be doing everything but writing on it. So according to The Hollywood Reporter, Martin reportedly signed a 5-year, 8-figure deal with HBO back in 2021 to develop more content for the network and its streaming service, which recently rebranded from HBO Max to Max. At the time of the deal, Martin was reportedly working with HBO to develop House of the Dragon, which is currently filming its second season, despite the ongoing SAG-AFTRA strike due to it filming outside the U.S. with non-SAG-AFTRA union members. He was also working on developing a House of the Dragon spinoff following Lord Corlys Velaryon, with Rome creator Bruno Heller at the helm. He was also working on a series that would follow the founder of Dorne, Nymeria, that would take place 1,000 years before the events of Game of Thrones. Other Game of Thrones projects included one focusing on the King's Landing slum flea bottom that would explore, quote, the lives of everyday citizens and the criminal underworld rather than focusing on powerful lords and ladies. He was also developing a Dunk and Egg series that evolved into A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, The Hedge Knight. The series is expected to adapt Martin's short story titled The Hedge Knight, as well as the novellas Sworn, Sword, and The Mystery Knight. The series actually received a straight order from Max back in April, but obviously with the strike, it's unclear where that is in development. And then finally, he was working on some kind of animated series set within the Game of Thrones world. We didn't really have a lot of details about that. But he revealed that deal, all of those things that he was working on, has been suspended. So I assume that the Dunk and Egg project is on hold. It's interesting that they're still going forward with the shootings with House of the Dragon. If his deal is suspended, I wonder if that's part of a separate deal. It's really unclear. Obviously, we don't have access to those contracts. But he wrote this in a blog post. He said that, as for me personally, my overall deal with HBO was suspended on June 1. He did not provide details on why his deal was suspended, but it does come about a month after the Writers Guild of America went on strike. Martin is a member of the guild and says he has been picketing in New Mexico. I have seen some photos of him on the picket lines in New Mexico as well, holding up his WGA sign. Interestingly, he says he's unconcerned about the deal being suspended. He says, I still have plenty to do, of course, and that I'm one of the lucky ones. These strikes are not really about name writers or producers or showrunners, most of whom are fine. We're striking for the entry-level writers, the story editors, the students hoping to break in, the actor who has 4 lines, the guy working his first staff job who dreams of creating his own show one day, as I did back in the 80s. Of note, he is spending his time working on a stage play set within the Game of Thrones world called The Iron Throne. SAG-AFTRA strike does not affect that world, the stage world. He also shared an update on the 6th novel. This is what you guys were all waiting for, right? The update on Winds of Winter. He says, and yes, of course, I've been working on Winds of Winter almost every day, writing, rewriting, editing, writing some more, making steady progress, not as fast as I would like, certainly not as fast as you would like, but progress nonetheless. He also shared he's editing a number of wildcard books. I didn't include it in this article, but I think I recall he said it in the blog post. I don't know. I feel like it was like almost 2-3 years ago. He said that if he didn't have it out in like the summer of 2021 or 2022, when like one of the big book conventions, Worldcon, was going to take place, that he should chain himself to a chair, to a desk in a cabin next to a volcano, which would make him get it done. He clearly did not do that. And it's been like, I feel like it's been a couple years since then, and we have seen neither hide nor hair of this book, only promises that he's working on it. And I think at this point, it's not going to happen, and he might not even be working on it. He's working on, there's too many other things that seem to be coming out rather than this, so it's really hard for me to think that he's actually working on this book. I just don't think it's going to come out, because it's going to, A, confirm that the story that they did indeed do in those final seasons of Game of Thrones were from his notes and were absolutely awful, or he doesn't know how to make it a better ending than what they did, which was absolutely terrible. Personally, I don't think it's that hard. The ending is literally the Night King wins, kills everyone, and you turn your entire story into a tragedy. And they all pay the price for their various sins and their infighting and their lack of unity. But that is the latest update from George R.R. Martin. His contract with HBO has been suspended, and he says he's working on Winds of Winter.